Yeah, right, guys. Welcome to this upload for you guys today. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. If you are new to my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you'll be notified anytime I do any videos. As well as check out my link tree down below with all my other social media outlets, including the link to my vlog channel, which I will be uploading a vlog within a couple of weeks. But that's my next wrestling vlog. I cannot wait to go to Forbidden Door, as well as Pro Wrestling Eve, as well as Sweet Chin Music that announced yesterday's upload. Now, obviously, that's going to be a one long vlog. I hope you enjoy the ride because I'm going to be enjoying putting that together for you guys. It may be in parts, I don't know, but I am thinking about doing it all in one video and then set a premiere for you guys. I hope you understand that predicament that I'm actually in, because at the moment I'm just in the middle of the writing of a couple of more songs, you might want to say, for that very video. So please check that out when that actually comes out to you guys. Yes, I'm putting a lot of hard work and determination into this one. You know, because at the end of the day, I enjoy doing wrestling vlogs as well as talk videos. That's why you've came to the right place. You know, you got to get true honesty towards, how to put it, towards your wrestling fandom and my wrestling fandom. And that's how it goes here onto the life of YouTube if you talk about professional wrestling. Now, I want to say this, right? I'm glad I don't watch the WWE anymore. You know, it's a refreshing change. You know, not to watch it at all, completely. I obviously gave up on the weekly products, but I only watched the PLEs. Now I don't watch anything towards them. I'm not in the mood for Clash at Paris at all, because at the end of the day I see clips and that's good enough for me for that side of wrestling. Then AEW's on the flip side. I always look forward to watching their counter-programming sort of thing towards the likes of Dynamite and Collision as and when I can, you know, because at the end of the day I don't like the way, how to put it, the providers that they are providing the product and messing them around. Like some of the shows, like in September, apparently Dynamite's going on Tuesday, whilst I've got a Collision on this Wednesday. That's the only problem I have with the likes of AEW, you know, and it really frustrates me as a person that wants to support that product. You know, obviously it's the time difference. I can live with that at the moment because obviously being unemployed. You know, I am looking for work. I am applying for jobs. You know, I'm a full qualified SIA member. I've been applying for jobs like that. You know, I'm trying to get out of hospitality, but it just draws you back in. You know, it's like wrestling. At the end of the day, you technically want to give up on it, but it's like your first love. You know, that was technically my first love. Manchester United was my second love. You know, and it attracts me even more every time when I see what they actually do. And that's what I love about AEW. They're thriving at the moment. They show little Easter eggs to certain storylines, you know, going forward. And it makes you want to tune in every single week. That's what it delivers for me. And I feel like they're doing it justice to showboat the talent, what they've actually got. And when they do it at a pay-per-view, as you know full well, as I've been saying in previous uploads, when it comes to certain things, what AEW has to offer for the wrestling fans, and people may just laugh at me, but I want to say this, and I'll point it. This is what WWE used to offer to the fans, so you can't laugh because at the end of the day, I'm entitled to my opinions. It's like when I did a video yesterday on TikTok. There's someone asked, saying, would a brand split in 2025 help the product, and since when did it ever benefit any of the products? When it came to the brand split, the only time I felt like it delivered was the first one, the second one, the third one, and possibly the fifth one. Then it lost its course, like from 2025, 2026 one going forward. That's how I felt, you know, because at least one thing, you look at that, the way I feel like the way, how to put it, I feel like the AEW should do that at some point, because at least one thing, you're not overshadowing each other on each other's products. If you know what I mean, you've just randomly bought Athena up. You're not knocking it though, don't guys. Hands up, I'm not knocking it. But you brought her from Ring of Honor to randomly now chasing on Toni Storm. It makes sense, but is she going to stay on that product? Is she going to be back as Ring of Honor Women's World Champion? You know, with Athena or Ember Moon, whatever you want to class her under. You know, that's the only gripe I have when they keep bringing Ring of Honor onto the AEW weekly products. You know, they should keep that separately, and that's what I feel like the only gripe I've got with AEW as of late. You know, yes, there's a few things that used to piss me off in the past, but it doesn't piss me off as much. But I'll tell you one thing, there's not product placement like endorsements. Yeah, you get your commercial ad breaks, don't get me wrong, in the United States, we get commercial ad breaks. You know, they just feel fluid. You know, I'm fortunate to be one of those thrillers subscribers. Used to be Fight TV, we don't get the ad breaks and that lot, and that's why I love watching that, because it feels like a small pay-per-view for me as a wrestling fan that I feel like it's delivering. You know, and that's why I love what they do. And that's what I mean. I look at their product. It's a niche product. A lot of people now are starting to tune in. I've noticed the ratings are going up if you're that obsessed. You know, and people may complain about smaller crowds, smaller venues. Don't, because it will literally make you want to draw in. It's a different vibe when they go to smaller venues. You know, it gives that different entity, not the optical illusion to make it look packed. It's not. It looks good on camera, don't get me wrong, but it makes you want it more. And that's why I feel like AEW are doing that. But when it comes to their pay-per-views, like I was mentioning, they seem to deliver. Now, here's where it lies, where you can put your money where your mouth is. I feel like, honest to God, this proves how true wrestling fans really are. They're lapping this up already. I want to give you my 2 cents on this, right? This is one thing that really, really frustrates me. You know? I knew the day would come, and it has came. It's counter-programming. You know, at times, I can understand with AEW shuffling Dynamite and that lot, but counter-programming. Once they announce a pay-per-view, get so much buzz for it and everything, but this is a true testament now. This proves how much WWE see AEW as a threat. They are putting a pay-per-view PLE on the same day and the same time. And I've seen, keep this between me and you, the viewers, I've heard speculations that they're trying to do it, and at some point next year, if they try and do it, to put it in the same state, in the same city as AEW when they do their pay-per-views. Now that's cowardly. That will be so cowardly and frustrating for me as a wrestling fan. I'm like saying, how dare you do this? The thing is, though, you used to say AEW wasn't a competitor, but now you always keep on doing stuff to counter their product. You know, you did the whole weekend with a PLE. Then you did the Saturday Night Main Event. Then you did Friday Night SmackDown. Then you've done the likes of Monday Night Raw. Then you've technically done it with NXT. You know, if I remember rightly, that it fell on one of the pay-per-views. I think it was Double or Nothing. I can't remember if it was or not. But this will prove the testament of making people choose. You know, because end of the day, you were saying it weren't a war back in the day when you did the Wednesday Night Wars. Fans made it what it was. We knew full well what it was, because all of a sudden you've got the likes of AEW getting a TV deal. Then all of a sudden you got a TV deal towards NXT. Put it on a Wednesday night. You backed out. You randomly put it on a Tuesday night because you couldn't handle the pressure what AEW had to offer back in 2019, 2020, 2021. You know, because at the end of the day, it drives me sick seeing this, you know. And this is just me being honest, because end of the day, fans may declare it as a war. WWE may see it as a war, but you got to remember they support the wrestlers themselves. support each other. You know, because at the end of the day, they're happy they're employed. You know, right now, right, I want to say this. This will make a really big impact, right? With this counter PLE that WWE is doing to AEW's pay-per-view, right? I want to point this out there. And this is All Out, you know, one of the strongest pay-per-views. And it's in Canada, right? You're already teasing towards maybe Edge and Christian reuniting. Could happen, couldn't happen. End of the day, it may happen, don't know. Right? You have the likes of Jericho come back, fair enough. It's in Canada, it makes sense. Have Fozzy playing on there, but the counter reaction will be the number one red hot wrestler right now, Karrion Kross. Right? See him come out of the O2. Right? I'm not saying it because I'm going to it, but it'd be amazing to see, because I don't think there's not such a thing as no compete clause. When they actually are not released, they're let go. They're literally expired. Their contract is expired, not let go. That sounds like released. Because this is one way they can make a massive impact, right? To counteract the product they are planning to do. They are planning to, on WWE's PLE, they're planning to do Brock Lesnar versus John Cena at that PLE. And that's in September. So what you're going to do is the build. You know, this is why I feel like with John Cena having shorter spaces on his, how to put it, appearances. That's why you can't do much of a build for it other than the tag he did at SummerSlam. You know, I know it's pathetic, non-consistent, don't get me wrong, but I'm not being funny. I do not want to see that in 2025. You know, it proves how much you're doing John Cena's greatest hits. Yeah, you may have John Cena versus Logan Paul at Clash at Paris. Great, you've made him work with a young star. Job well done. But you didn't put no build or effort towards it. You just randomly go, oh, on a match with you, John Cena. Okay, you got it. And that's it. You know, there's lack of consistency when it comes to certain things, because you need to, if you are literally creating stories and memories for people instead of moments, you know, I feel like that's the lost clause in professional wrestling, just the moments. You know, you have those moments when you've literally, how to put it, you can't rely on the pop. I'm on about when you have those moments, you want people just to report it, talk about it, etc. You know, publicity is a key word when it comes to WWE. But the biggest moment will counteract with what WWE has to offer. Karrion Kross, Killer Kross, whatever you want to call it, Killian, where was I going? And Scarlett shows up at the O2. Maybe attack. How do I dare say it? Do you want me to dare say it? Attack Will Ospreay. The only reason why I'm saying this, if he's fit enough, obviously, the only reason why I'm saying this is because he's one of the top draws of the company. You know, set him and Will Ospreay up in a match. You know, for All Out. Or the likes of another one of your top draws. Hangman Adam Page. Have him attack him. You know, it may be carbon copy of what WWE did with Brock Lesnar and John Cena, don't get me wrong, but if people really want Cross, they will follow. And this is a golden moment, a golden opportunity for someone like Tony Khan to step in and give the fans what they want. You know, that just proves how people are loyal to Karrion Kross, let alone, how to put it, might want to jump ship and watch other products. You know? It's just as simple as that. Have him have the O2 and then set up a big match between him and one of the big stars. You know? Job well done. Because I feel like when I look at the likes of AEW at the moment, I feel like they're missing someone that was cryptic. They could have done so much more. Don't get me wrong with Malachi Black, when he or Aleister Black, whatever you want to do. But the way they've done a cryptic sort of female faction, yeah, because obviously the likes of Buddy Murphy, who's currently out injured, he recently had ankle surgery. I feel like that faction, that House of Black, could have gone somewhere and gone well, but now it looks like the way things have gone, they've transitioned Julia Hart to obviously keep that gimmick and bring it out with Sky Blue and Tekla. That's an interesting thing. You know, the Trios of Madness, yeah, the name needs a bit of a work, but it would work for wrestling fans. You know, because at the end of the day, they want to be different. So that's what I mean. It's just like, I feel like they are literally missing someone like Killer Cross. You know, someone that is dominant. Someone that is... And the thing is, TV14 suits him. I think, yes, it would have pushed the boundaries of PG era of WWE, or G rating, whatever you want to class it as nowadays. But I look at this. This is a golden opportunity. I'm not going to be mad if they don't, but it's such a golden opportunity. Handed it to him. You know, because at the end of the day, you got to think, it's like Braun Strowman says, they don't care about the fans. They do not care about the fans. It's living proof they don't care about the fans. With AEW, they care about the fans. You know, they do listen to some aspects of it and all this lot. This needs to happen. You know? And allow him to do independent shows. You know? I watched that documentary last night. I sat through it. I couldn't believe how quick it went because how long it was. You know, there was fluid, there was consistency. That's how you do a documentary series. Even though it's one part 2 to part 1. But that's how you do a documentary. You know, I felt so bad for them. You know, their stuff is now on Pro Wrestling Tees. Are they doing this just to make it look like a massive work or not? You know, because at the end of the day, I don't think this is a work. I think he's generally gone. You know? And that's not me getting emotional. It's just allergies, guys. My throat is so dry. But that's what I mean. It's like, how could WWE do this? They are that spineless. They want to counteract everything because they're jealous of success. What AEW has in short space of time, what WWE built up over years upon years upon years. You know, if they didn't do the Attitude Era, let's just say, I don't think WWE would have been around anymore. And that's just me being honest. They needed something like that. They need something like technically like that right now. You know, because end of the day, they think, okay, this is our easy option. AEW announce a pay-per-view. Oh yeah, we'll decide to plan a PLE whilst they're on the same night. This is the third time it's happened. It's going to be happening. You know, fans can see through the bullshit. You know, true wrestling fans, not just WWE fans, because they'll be blindsided. True wrestling fans know the bullshit. And this is capital bullshit. You know, because at the end of the day, when I've spoken about WWE in the past, like planning to do more PLEs 2 nights, they're going to probably do it the same weekend as, because they think, okay, Saturday Night Main Event's selling well, we might as well make 2-night PLEs of the same thing. You know, this is where I draw the line. Okay, fair enough. It's competition, don't get me wrong, it's healthy competition. But this is true and testament for All Out in 2025. You know, and that's just me being honest with you. Because you got to think, right? You look at it logically, right? If they put 2-night PLEs on, like whenever they do, they'll probably do it at the same dates. They're slowly progressing to find out the dates when AEW announce their shows. They used to, how to put it, used to put a yearly calendar out, so you knew when their PLEs were or pay-per-views back in the day. Then you knew their sort of structure towards their product. Fair enough. Now you don't get the announcement on a yearly sheet, a calendar. You just get the announcements as and when. But the catch is, with the PLE, to counteract all out, you don't give much time for people to save, to pay for it. That's what sickens me as well. And obviously, with it being short notice, hotels are going to be a lot more. That's just me being honest with you. I was fortunate to get this hotel for, how to put it, for AEW. I booked a year in advance. I booked a year in advance. I booked a year in advance for all in Wembley. So that's what I mean. It's like, I've got that quite cheap. I know it's 500, but it's like 400. Sorry, it's between both of us for 2 nights. I can't complain with that. It's next door to Wembley. It's going to save me a lot of hassle than what this trip's going to give me. And that's just me being honest. But guys, it's just mad to think. I don't mind competition, don't get me wrong, but I feel like this is just jealous competition. You don't see them like doing it on Unreal, like saying, "Oh, AEW's announced another pay-per-view. Oh, let's plan a show for that date." Yeah, you don't see it all, do you? On that Unreal. They need to bring the politics side of things into it. They need to show the politics side of it and what they actually really think towards AEW, not subliminally mentioning them in a cowardly way without mentioning them, if you know what I mean. That's just my thoughts. Tell me yours. And I'll catch you guys soon for another video here on Wrestling Fan Open Mic Night. Till next time, catch you guys soon.